If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
The fact is, this guy, and Bonds did it for 3 years, 2.5 years, is this guy gets up every day. If he's smart, he gets up every day and goes, what do they have on me today? Because now a grand jury has been convened. There is a good chance Miguel Tejada is going to go to prison for a stupid, arrogant decision about lying to congressional investigators. At least, a grand jury has been convened, so that takes it to.
So you still think that this steroid thing's far from being over in regard to litigation and federal prosecution?
Well, I think Bonds goes to trial next in March, and then there's a real chance Clemens and Tejada could be indicted. MLB people expect them to be indicted. So the guy that made the trade hurt for the Astros was Troy Patton. I'm telling you, this guy, I don't know if he's going to make it, but everything you look for in a prospect. He throws hard, he's left-handed, he's got poise, he's got it. When he was Bill Garner, when he managed the Astros, first saw him pitch at Tomball High School, which is a Houston suburb, and when they drafted him, they paid over slot to get him because they wanted him so badly. The scout did a great job figuring out his signability issues. Phil Garner was ordered in spring training not to speak to Troy Patton, not to look at him, and don't get any funny ideas because he wanted him on the team immediately. He wanted him on the team at 19. And Phil's point was, this kid has the best arm in the organization, and B, if I'm doing my job correctly,
I can teach him.
I can put him in situations that allow him to grow and protect his confidence and allow him to contribute to the ball club. Because look, you can look it up. You don't ruin the great ones. One of the great stories in Oriole history is who's the shortstop that allowed Cal to move to shortstop. Bob Bonner, was that the kid?
Bobby Bonner.
Yeah, and Earl's point was they always said, the front office said, you ruined him. Well, Earl's point was, well, if I ruined him, how come all the other 29 clubs didn't even take a chance on him? And that ended up with Cal being a shortstop, and that worked out pretty well.
Richard Justice from the Houston Chronicle here with us, talking a little bit of baseball. Let's talk about Clemens a little bit more. That is as close to a Houston story as it's a Yankee story, it's a baseball story, I guess, but it'll all happen in Houston. Is he in hiding?
Yeah, he's had the good sense to go away and shut his mouth. I heard Barry Bonds told somebody, hey, you know what, I'm not the most hated guy in baseball anymore, because Barry's had the sense enough to keep his mouth shut. And Roger hadn't. Roger ran his mouth too much. There's a very real possibility that Andy Pettit's going to send Roger Clemens to prison. And it's so sad, because I'm telling you what gets lost, Master, is that I don't know what Roger did before he got to work every day. And I don't know what he did after he left work. There's all these stories, and he's opened himself up to all this. But
with the girl, the country singer, and all that stuff, sure.
Performance-enhancing drugs, everything. But in the time he was there, he's the best I've ever been around. He was a caring teammate. He's a guy that players knew they could call in the middle of the night if they needed something. He was an unbelievable competitor on the mound. Jeff Bagwell once said, he cares so much it makes you want to care more. You're afraid to mess up, much like the impact Frank Robinson had on those Oriole teams that won 4 pennants. And you just can't, what bothers me is that all that's been forgotten. All we're going to remember him now is he's a guy that cheated.
And Kirk Radomski and all that other stuff.
Shorted stuff in which he took himself, had he come out on the day of the Mitchell report and said, I'm sorry, it might have changed the way we look at the steroid era. Because I think at some point we got to get our mind around this. I was thinking of McGuire the other day. I got to know him a little bit, and he's just like Roger. I think there are a lot of parallels in that he was a great player and a great teammate. Now, steroids probably played a huge role in his career, but we're painting them with one brush when it's much more complicated. That unfortunately, their decisions led to the ruination of their reputation.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.